Today we're talking to St Albans City manager Ian Allinson at Clarence Park, where the Saints have suffered a surprise 2-1 National League South defeat against struggling Gloucester City. At half-time, Ian, that result didn't look a possibility. We're 1-0 up. We looked full of goals in many ways, although we weren't turning chances away. But also Gloucester showed they could cause us trouble as well, and they did in the end.
Yeah, we spoke about it at length at half-time, David, in terms of the two real good opportunities they had in the first half. I mean, the lad should score from about 2 yards out and he's ballooned it over the bar, and then Herts made a miraculous recovery tackle to stop us going in at 1-1 just before half-time. So we knew there was a concern in terms of the way we defended today. We didn't defend well, though we had created quite a lot of chances. The other end, we hadn't finished them off. We did the crossbar. I think we had one or two real good chances to put the ball in the back of the net. We had a goal disallowed. But unfortunately, you know, for all the things we spoke about at half-time, about applying ourselves, doing the job properly, making sure that we close down on certain instances, especially on set pieces against, to make sure we clear our lines. And we've just not applied ourselves second half. We've got exactly what we deserved in the end, which was a 2-1 defeat. And really disappointing from the fact is that, you know, we didn't apply ourselves in the second half. We switched off on a corner. We started to use it as a rest period again, and I've spoken at lengths about this year, is that when we have corners against us, we've got to use that as a springboard for us to come alive and be alert, and we didn't. We switched off. We nearly got caught out in the first half with their short corner, and we didn't learn from that. We didn't react from that, and you know, a couple of touches later they've rifled it in the back of the net and it's 1-0, and then it's game on. And you know, though we've huffed and puffed and put a lot of pressure in terms of the long throws and corners, we've probably had more corners today than we've probably had all season in terms of the last 10 games. But we've not been good enough to get something out of the game. And second half, full credit to them, because they worked harder than us and applied themselves better than us.
In many ways, the most disappointing thing is once Gloucester got back to 1-0, that's when we couldn't pick it up enough. That should have been the kick up the backside or whatever to get us going again. It didn't.
We didn't. And as I say, we looked flat second half, and you know, whether at half time you said it there, we did create a lot of chances in the first half. Whether we felt we just got to turn up in the second, and that's what it looked to me, is that we felt we just had to turn up in the second half and we'd go on and win the game quite comfortably. And as I said, fair play to Gloucester. They upped their tempo. They closed us down a lot quicker. Their two centre halves started to dominate the game. They started to win enough balls that heading it back in. We didn't pick up enough second balls. I felt their two forwards started to dominate our centre halves. Our centre halves wanted to fight with them, and we spoke at half time about not getting involved in a fight with them, and we just tended to. It was just a bullying match in the second half in terms of the centre forwards and the centre halves. We give away a couple of cheap free kicks. As I say, we give a cheap corner away, and before we know where we are, as I say, it's 1-0, and then it's a stretched out game. But the second goal was exactly the same. As we've gone home from the halfway line, where could we have put the ball back into the box and caused them a few more problems? We haven't, and Dean's miscontrolled it, then miskicked it. The ball's then recycled it out to the 10, who I don't host, but I need to have a look at the video in terms of who's picking them up. But he's put a ball in the box and they've reacted quick enough to it. So we've got to be really disappointed. It's probably the worst I've felt in terms of this season, in terms of where we've been. I thought we got away from these sort of performances, and it's just come back. And for me, it's just, you know, it's just took us back miles from where we was at times in the first part of the season. I felt we got out of this. We'd learnt how to see games out. We'd learnt how to apply ourselves and do the good things and manage the game. And we didn't manage that second half. And as you say before, we know where we are. We're 2-1 down. We've thrown caution to the wind in the last 15-20 minutes. We caused them lots of problems. We probably had 6 or 7 corners. We've had balls go across the face of the goal, but we've not had enough bodies in there to force the ball over the line, and that's disappointing because we haven't had enough bodies in there. But everyone seems to be congregating around the edge of the box where we need 5 or 6 to go into the 6-yard box. And if the ball does drop in there like they did, they rifle it into the back of the net, and we didn't do that today.
You sort of touched on it there. I mean, this is a recurring theme at this stage of the season, where you're playing a team towards the bottom end and not getting the result. I mean, you must be frustrated as hell.
Well, we've just been talking about it now, and it was the one thing that Glenn spoke about today after the game, the conversation when I asked him to come and join the club in the summer, was that when we play teams at this level, and that's not being disrespectful to Gloucester, but they're in a relegation battle, is that we have to make sure we take maximum points or we don't lose the game. You know, and we go back to the Truro game where we've scored in the last minute here, and it is a recurring system in terms of that we fail to beat the teams in and around the bottom who are fighting for their lives and worked harder than us, and yet, you know, we go and produce performances against some of the top sides. So We thought we'd got over this, even though we got a draw against, Truro. We'd gone away from home to Chippenham, Wealdstone, Welling, Hampton, and picked up good results. And today we've just really undone a lot of the good work that we've put together. And the only thing I can put it down to the fact is that we haven't applied ourselves properly in the second half. I think Gloucester worked harder than us more in the second half. Once they got their noses in front, it gave them something to look after. And we wasn't technically good enough to get something out of the game, even though, as I say, we huffed and puffed. Put them under a lot of pressure, got lots of corners, got balls in the box, won some headers in the box, but we didn't pick up a lot of second balls, and we just wasn't good enough in the second half to go and get something out of this game. And it's such a shame, because I thought, apart from them 2 chances they got in the first half, we'd managed the first half really well. Sam's got to be scoring when he's hit the crossbar. Solomon's had probably 2 opportunities to hit the back of the net. We've had the goal disallowed, we've had 1 or 2 other chances, and we could have quite easily gone in sort of 3 or 4-2 up at half time, which we haven't. But then, within 5 minutes in the second half, we were stretched. We didn't close them down, we didn't pick up second balls, and every ball they put in behind us causes a problem defensively. And that's probably the worst I feel we've defended for a long time today.
I mean, it must be doubly frustrated, because it is things that you should be doing better, and with results elsewhere going your way, you're still only, what, 4 points off?
Well, we spoke about it, we're no worse off now before the game. We're still 4 points off the playoffs, but we're running out of games, and as I said before, we've got tough games to go. So, and as I keep saying, it's no disrespect to Gloucester, we should be looking to pick 3 points up today, as we should be looking to pick 3 points up at Slough next week, and the week after, and the week after. But every time we have a sort of second half, 45 minutes like today, we've been punished for it. And they're the things trying to get the players to grasp, and that you have to do the right things every single week, every single game. You can't start a game for 45 minutes and then sit in there at half time and think, we've only just got to turn up in the second half and we'll go on and win this game quite comfortably, because we've shown in the second half we've not turned up, and they outfought us in the second half. They worked harder than us, and that's disappointing, because I think most of the games this year we've actually worked really hard in all the games. Though we haven't played well the last couple of weeks, I actually think our work rate and our endeavour and our willingness not to get beat has been fantastic. Today in that second half I felt we were second best all over the park. I don't think we passed the ball enough in the second half. Too many balls went into poor areas. We didn't close them down well enough in the second half, and we didn't stop them playing. And when we got on the ball, we just give it away cheap in the second half, and their centre half started to come through, Sam and with David Moyo. We didn't put them under enough pressure. The centre half started to dominate the game, and then their midfield started to pick up more second balls. And then when they started to put balls in behind us, their forwards were causing their back 4 problems. And in the end, they've got what they deserved. They got the 2 goals. They could have got a third. I think that's probably looking at Dean. He's been really consistent for us over the last sort of 10, 12 games. He was a little bit inconsistent today. He's throwing the ball when he should be kicking it when he should be throwing it. And I just think there was a really poor second half today, and it's so disappointing after how hard everybody's worked in over the last few weeks. And we get into a situation today where we can really kick on, and we haven't. So, as we said, we've got to go. We've got 6 games to go. I said before the game today we're probably going to have to go and win 5, but we're going to have to go and win some big games, and we're going to have to show a lot more character and work a lot harder today in the next 6 games than we did today. Otherwise, we will struggle to pick up points.
Injuries have thinned out a squad in recent weeks, so to address that, you brought in Scott Shelton from Hemel Hempstead Town and James Colocci from Kingstonian back for his 3rd spell. Are you pleased with their contribution today, and also is the balance of the squad better now?
The balance of the squad is better. Yeah, I was pleased with both of them, because they both gave us a little sort of different dimension to what we did. I think Scotty got us passing, which is something that we hadn't been doing for the last few games, and certainly our performance in terms of transferring the ball from the right to the left and the left to the right was a lot better today. And James has come in and won some big headers. I just felt we needed to go and get a bit more width in the game in the last sort of 20 minutes. That's why we took him off and put the 2 wide players on, and went to, we was virtually playing 3-4-2 or 3-2-4 in the end, or whatever it is, or 3-3-4, and we was pushing, trying to get something out of the game, but again, we just didn't get enough quality in from the wide areas. With too many balls went over the box, and as I say, but pleased with their performance, pleased with the way they started, but again disappointed with the way we've defended in the second half.
Right, those 2 have come in. One's gone out, James Ewington. People were hoping he was going to make the big step up successfully. 5 games, alright, weren't full appearances, no goals. Did the budget not allow you to keep him, or was it just a case of you had to go?
It was James's decision. James wanted to, I think, sitting on the bench, obviously he could go and play for every single game for Walton and Casuals, and you know, he did it the right way. He spoke to me on Tuesday. He said that, you know, he felt he needed to be playing at his age, and we've said before, he's not a youngster anymore. And he felt he just wanted to go and finish the season off with warm casuals. He needed to play games just to keep himself ticking over. And I agreed that I think it was probably the best decision from that side of it. So it did free up a little bit more, that we could probably bring another one in. So bringing in Scott and bringing in James was the right thing to do, and we managed to bring them, get them both over the line. So, as I say, their performances were good today. You know, we can't look back and say that's the wrong decision in terms of playing them today, because they've done all right. But you know, we've got Clovis back now. He's trained well on Thursday. He's had a good sort of 10-15 minutes there late on, so we'll see how he reacts to training on Tuesday. As I say, we've just got to see where we are with the rest of the squad. I think everyone's all right. Ben Herts obviously felt his calf or an Achilles today, which has forced him off. Zane's had an operation today, so as I say, we know he's out for the rest of the season. And you see David walking around here with his hand in plaster. So yeah, it's been a tough one in terms of injuries, but I think Scotty and James coming in will balance the squad. But as I say, we have to work a little bit harder than we did in the second half than we did today.
I take it that's for the end of it for tinkering with the squad for this season now?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think we're in a position to bring anybody else in. As I say, there's the transfer deadline is on Thursday, so if we do, it'll have to happen very quickly, but I've got nobody in mind in terms of what we have to do. As I say, we've just got to keep working hard at what we're doing. We've got 6 games left. We know we've got to probably go and win 5 of them, which is going to be very difficult, especially some of the games we've got coming up. So, you know, we can be downbeat today, but you know, I need to pick myself up tomorrow and try and pick the players up during the week, so we go and try and get positive result with Slough next week. They've had a great result, winning, I think, Woking today. So it's going to be a tough game next week on the AstroTurf.
It's a tough one down here. We beat them 3-2, but they're not an easy side.
No, they're a good side. They've done very well this year. You know, they've adapted to the league really well. I think they're 3 points off us now, so you know, they'll still be looking with 6 games to go. That, you know, they might be able to go and win all 6 games and put themselves in a chance themselves. You know, Dartford have failed to win today, Billericay have failed to win today. So, you know, when them teams fail to win, we've got to take advantage of that, and we haven't done that today, and that's so disappointing after the 2 wins against Western and Dulwich here, and obviously the point against Chippenham last week, that we needed to go and pick something up here today.
Lovely, thanks so much, Ian. So, as hinted at there, the Saints are next in action next Saturday. That's the 30th of March. We're down at Arbour Park, home of Slough Town, National League South. Kick-off is at 3 p.m.